Closed captioning for the Casey Malone Show is sponsored by Hunter Stevens Land Title Agency. Integrity, service, and commitment you can trust.
Oh yeah, Casey Malone is serving up local. It's time for the stories of our region, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, and the people in and around the valley. Get ready for some local flavor on the Casey Malone Show.
Today we visit the world's largest collection of trolls at the Troll Museum in Alliance. And I prepared chestnut soup made with Ohio chestnuts. But first, Wintergreen Tree Farm in Manaway is gearing up for chestnut season. Well, you may remember Bob Staley from Wintergreen Tree Farm. Well, it's not just Christmas trees. In the fall, Bob has chestnuts. And I am so excited to be here in his chestnut orchards because I am getting a whole lesson on chestnuts. I had no idea we could even grow them in Ohio.
Yeah, they don't grow real well in Ohio, but it's possible.
How many trees do you think you have here on your acreage?
On the entire farm, we have about 30,000 trees.
And you planted them.
Mm-hmm.
And how long before they come to fruition where they can actually bear fruit?
Some of them will bear fruit in as little as 3 years, but it's very little. You know, you might get one burr on 100 trees or something like that. Usually by about the 5th or 6th year, they're actually starting to produce.
I mean, that is quite a commitment.
It is, and the number 30,000 sounds like a huge number, but what we've found is that we plant about 10 for every one that we intend to keep because they don't all do well.
What disease or what is the problem that Ohio's kind of a tough terrain for them?
One is chestnut blight, which wiped out our native chestnut.
Okay.
And then we have a variety of other pests, including Phytophthora, which is a soil pathogen. And we've got oak wilt that attacks them, Japanese beetle, Oriental chestnut gall wasp, Asian oak weevil, and
Yikes.
That's just a few of them.
You don't pick them from the trees. They fall on the ground, and they have like a burr is what you call them, but it looks like a porcupine.
Right.
And then the nut is really protected, and it falls out of the porcupine.
That's right. Yeah, it's a very spiny burr that they grow in. They usually grow 3 nuts in each burr. And then when the nuts are actually really ripe, that burr will open up and the nuts fall from it. And that's why you really just pick them up off the ground because
I had no
that's
idea.
when they're actually really ripe.
So that's the burr, and this is what comes out, and like 3 of them, huh?
Usually.
Not one per burr. How can you tell if a chestnut is good or bad? Are these good ones?
Yeah, these are good ones. You want it to be completely filled up, not like wrinkly and that type of thing.
Right, and firm?
Yeah, firm. A lot of times in the store you may see chestnuts that are kind of dried out.
Right.
It's okay if you can put a little oil can dent in that, but if it's much more than that, if it's crackly, it's too far gone. And they're not your typical nut. Most nuts have a lot of oil, chestnuts don't, and so they actually dry out. And so they need to be refrigerated.
I was just going to say, what is the proper storage for a chestnut?
Yeah, you want to keep them in the crisper section of your refrigerator.
And how long do you think they'll last?
A month or 2.
They can't freeze. I can't imagine.
No, you don't want to freeze them.
Well.
Although a lot of my customers will take them and cook them and then freeze them.
Oh, and then you could just use them.
Then you can use them whenever
and
you want.
recipes in that.
Mm-hmm.
You can eat them raw. Let's open one up. So you don't have to cook them. You know, in the past, look, one just fell. How awesome is that? A bird just fell.
Glad it didn't fall on us. That's all I can say.
At least you have a hat on.
Yeah, right. They're an interesting nut because I think they're the only nut that has vitamin C. They have a lot of magnesium.
Let's say you cut down a tree.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is there anything that's really good with the chestnut wood?
Very rot resistant. Has a very interesting grain and it's fairly strong, but not real heavy.
Right.
A lot of people like to do woodworking with it. You know, when we still had the native chestnut here, they made all kinds of stuff. They claimed it was as rot resistant as redwood.
Wow.
So they made all kinds of different things.
Well, then what variety are you growing here? Like, what did you pick up that works here in our climate?
These are hybrids. They're part Chinese and part American. This was the first commercial orchard I put in, but after this I planted an orchard with about 5,000 trees where I tried all the different genetics and combinations thereof. And we kept track of what did well in this part of the country. And then we thinned them down from 4,424 trees down to less than 400. And by that time we were choosing based on whether we like the taste or not. Now the seed that I get out of that orchard almost always produces a nice chestnut. And so we're planting our new orchards using those seed, and then we keep improving those orchards. We're kind of working on creating our own particular variety.
Dr. Moreau, you are like, mixing it up.
Well, the only problem is I got started on this project, and I realized somewhere along the way that I'd embarked on about a 150-year project that I'm probably not going to see the end of.
Yeah, oh, right.
But thank God my two kids are involved.
And they like it.
They do.
Your family is really interested in this too.
I'm blessed by that.
I was so excited when I actually called him last year. It was because of the chestnuts.
Yeah.
And you're like, sorry, you missed that, but I got Christmas trees. Hey,
Just
I want
checking,
a sapling. I want to grow one of these. You think I could in my backyard?
If they're fairly particular about where they like to grow. These ones are actually sitting on sand and gravel, and this little mound here is what they call an esker. It basically was a river bed in the ice sheet that was once over Ohio, and when the ice sheet melted, it just settled down on the ground. But it provides this really well-drained soil and this kind of high sloping ground that
and this is
frost
ideal
resistant.
for that.
Yes.
Yeah. Do they all have that big, oval leaf?
They do, but the leaf is different depending on what species it is. The Chinese have a leaf that actually has like a fuzzy surface on it, and that pure American just has a matte surface on it. If you know enough about them, you can actually pick up the leaf and tell to some degree what kind of tree it is.
Look, another one down.
That
one was a little closer.
It's just a matter of time.
I know, I love this. Now, how long will it take after that drops for the nuts to fall out?
They may have fallen out already. Now you can see this one here has nuts in it, and I think this one just dropped.
Right. Oh, wow.
But over a period of about a day, that'll open up enough so the nuts would fall out. A lot of my pickers will open it up with their feet. They don't even try and touch them, but you can just take your feet and open them up like that.
That is so
and then
cool.
You'll see, you've got 3 shiny nuts in there. It's funny, the chestnuts were the one thing that I allowed myself to do that didn't have to make a profit, just as a hobby. And it's kind of taken over my life, and it's now the main income producer for the farm. Could never find any decent chestnuts around here, and so I thought, well, I'm just going to grow my own. But it kind of turned into this.
Over. I mean, it is something. I think you're going to get a lot of people from our area, man, that are going to start becoming chestnut fans.
Good. I imagine they probably already are. They probably had a hard time finding good ones, but I think they would really like ours and become really popular. And people coming out here to pick their own and that kind of thing too.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get mine. I'm going to start on some of those recipes. And, if you don't make it for the chestnuts, Christmas is right around the corner.
Yep, that's right. It's coming fast.
He's going to take care of all your holidays from Halloween all the way down to Christmas.
I like that idea. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
When I want local flavor, I watch the Casey Malone Show.
Hi, I'm Robbie Fellman.
And I'm John Stanko from Boardman Subaru.
Subaru is the best-selling all-wheel drive brand in America for the last 10 years.
And rated #1 in safety for 4 years in a row.
Come and see the legendary Subaru Forester, all new and fully redesigned for 2025.
Or check out the 7-passenger Subaru Ascent, a top-ranked 3-row SUV according to Motor Trend.
Award-winning vehicles and award-winning service.
Only at Boardman Subaru, just south of Route 224 on South Avenue.
I'm Elizabeth Bernard. For more than 30 years, I've provided our Valley with sound legal advice. My associate Jennifer Rigetti and I will be your legal representatives if you're involved in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident. Don't try to handle it yourself. We'll navigate the red tape of dealing with doctors, medical insurance, and all the obstacles that you'll face. Remember, there are no upfront fees on personal injury cases, and hiring a lawyer does not mean you have to go to court.
Call attorney Elizabeth Bernard, local legal experience for more than 30 years.
For over 75 years, Kamara Jewelers has been the destination for quality jewelry. Our collection has a piece for everyone, in every occasion. Whether you're starting a new chapter, celebrating a milestone, or showing appreciation for the special people in your life, you can find a piece that reflects your love. At Kamara, we're about timelessness. Our jewelry isn't just for special occasions, it's for everyday moments that deserve a touch of elegance.
Get real, get Kamara. Shop C-Max Northside Appliance in Struthers, the local appliance store that beats big box prices every day.
3 generations serving Youngstown, Ohio, soon to be our 4th.
You better come on in my kitchen.
Well, I thought it was really cool when we got to visit a chestnut farm right here in Ohio. So I'm gonna prepare some chestnut soup made with those chestnuts. And it is the perfect time of year. Fall is here. We've got all the holidays coming up and chestnuts work perfectly. Thanksgiving and Christmas. I've made cookies, I've made hummus, I've roasted chestnuts, but I've never mastered the chestnut soup. And I've been experimenting, and I think you are going to really enjoy this recipe. So let's go over the ingredients and we will prepare chestnut soup. For this recipe, you'll need 4 slices of bacon, 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter, 3 carrots peeled and sliced, 2 stalks of celery sliced, 1 leek, white and light green parts sliced, 2 shallots chopped, 4 cups of chicken broth or stock, 1 teaspoon of chopped sage, 1 teaspoon of thyme leaves, 1 bay leaf, 2 cups of roasted chestnuts, about 2 dozen, and save 2 for garnish, 1/2 cup of heavy cream, and dry sherry, crumbled bacon, and chopped chives for garnish. Well, I've already pre-roasted some of the chestnuts, and let me tell you, when I was out at the farm, Bob gave me a good trick that I wasn't aware of. I used to mark them with the X, and I'd bake them in the oven, but I've got a way quicker way to deal with it. So what you want to do is take the flat part of the chestnut and just pierce it with a knife in an X. Okay, and then you go the other way. Okay, I know. Now when I'm doing it on camera, it looks harder, right? And then you just set them on a plate. And we'll do the rest of these. And then they're gonna go into the microwave for just 1 minute. And the heat from the microwave actually makes these curl up and very easy to remove the shell and the skin. So they're out of the microwave. And you see how they've curled up a little bit and they're really warm. And that's when you want to deal with them. So all I do is squeeze them and then they just pop right out. I mean, the skin usually comes right with it. And you gotta make quick work of it. And there you go. Look at that, perfect chestnut. How easy was that? And also when they open up, sometimes you'll see if they're like black or rotted or moldy. That's a good way to pitch them. But see, ooh, they're a little warm. Ooh, it popped right out. Well, I'm rendering the fat from the bacon. I'm gonna get it nice and crispy. It's gonna add the nice flavor base to begin with. Then I'll move the crisp bacon off and use it as a garnish and crumble it on top of each soup serving. And I really don't need this big of a pot, but because bacon spits, I just use it because I don't want to get burned by the bacon fat. So I'm just waiting for this to get nice and crispy, and then this really moves along quickly once we get the bacon cooked. So the bacon is nice and crispy. So I'm gonna remove that and let this fat drain off on this paper towel. And then I'm only gonna need about a teaspoon of the bacon fat. So what I'm gonna do is I save my bacon fat because Ken likes dirty eggs and I like it for my ginger snap cookies at Christmas time because I use bacon fat instead of butter. Oh, they're so good. Anyhow, so I'll save that and then we'll get ready and we'll start adding everything else into the pot. So now we've got about a teaspoon of the bacon fat. I'm going to add sizzle, and now the shallots go in, the leeks. I really like leeks, but remember they're kind of dirty on the inside. So when you get them, split them in half and rinse them out real good and use the light and dark green parts. And then the carrots, and the celery goes in. So we are just gonna let this cook down a little bit, about 10 minutes to soften up all the vegetables. And as it's softening up, this is a good time to add a little salt and pepper. You know, I do about half teaspoon, dries out a little bit of the moisture in the vegetables, and just a couple grinds. See, everything is nice and softened. And now we add these ingredients. So use stock or broth. I'm using kitchen stock. Now, if you want this to be vegetarian, well, you don't have the bacon, and you could use vegetable stock, but this is not the vegetarian one. And now I'm going to add the sage, which I just love sage. I'm going to add 1 bay leaf, and then the thyme. And now the star of the show, the chestnuts. So I'm gonna bring it up to a slow boil and then put it down to simmer for about 30 to 40 minutes to get everything cooked and softened. So now it's been removed from the heat. So now I'm going to add the ½ cup of heavy cream.
Wow.
And I'm gonna use one of my favorite tools in the kitchen, my immersion blender. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you the job to taste this and see what we need to do to adjust the seasoning. All right.
Well, that's a good job.
Right?
How's that?
That looks perfect. See, it is a
left me
pretty
little nugget
color.
there, yeah.
Oh, there is a little nugget in there. So I wasn't as smooth as I should have been.
It's okay.
But I'll enjoy it.
As long as you got your salt right.
Right.
And so you need what, a ½ a shot of sherry?
Right, just a little ½ ounce. Okay, so now I'm gonna crumble
Okay.
a little bit of the chestnuts, a little bit of the chives,
Okay.
and last but not least, what everybody loves, the bacon bits. Okay.
Wow.
Wow, this is even better than the last batch I made. It is, did you see how easy that was though?
That's delicious.
I mean, this would be really nice.
I still think it needs a pinch of salt, but
Okay, well, all right.
you know, I'm gonna make it a thing.
Okay.
Salt.
I mean, nice starter, right? For dinner.
Oh my God, much better.
Okay. Go to my website, CaseyMaloneShow.com, and look for the recipe for chestnut soup. It is
delicious.
Really delicious. And if you don't think there's enough salt, throw some in. The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor.
This is GABA Camp, an all-inclusive resort campground for our friends with disabilities. We're not done. Let's help our friends with disabilities. We need additional cabins and a lodge. Donate now, GABACamp.com. Giving is living.
Locally sourced is good, whether it's ingredients or a bank, and that's why my bank is Farmers National Bank. Since 1887, Farmers has remained rock solid through every economic condition. Having a bank with a history of safety, soundness, and conservative management is a must. It all boils down to this. You need a bank that will help you reach your goals. I do too, and Farmers is mine. Farmers National Bank, rock solid.
Rulli Brothers is way ahead of the competition. Check out Rulli Spice World, where you can buy bulk herbs and spices, plus candies, nuts, and fillings for pennies on the dollar. At Rulli Brothers Market, our family is in the store.
Locally owned, Hurricane Health and Wellness will help you weather the storm of your weight loss struggles. Safe and discreet, our experienced telemed team will prescribe the proper weight loss medication. Powerful weight loss solutions. Hurricane Health and Wellness. Well, there's so much to see here at the Troll Hole. You absolutely have to be taken on the tour. How did all of this start? Were you always a collector of troll dolls? Is that like what you did as a hobby?
I like to say it was very passively acquired because when I was little, at 5, I got a troll doll with my sisters for Christmas because that was in the 60s. And,
right.
And they were popular.
Yes.
So between then and on into the late 80s, there weren't very many available. We lived in the Southwest, so I had less than a dozen, not hardly any at all. Then we moved east to Cuyahoga Valley. Now we were flea markets, yard sales, and trolls started making a comeback. People started dumping collections of trolls in the late 90s, early 2000s. So when this project came to be, we started a renovation of a historic Main Street here in Alliance.
Yeah.
And we needed a hook. And my husband looked around and said, well, Guinness records bring a lot of publicity. You have a large pile of trolls. Why don't we see if we can get the record? And from there, history's been made. And the
so when you counted those trolls for Guinness, how many?
So when I started, I had a mere 2,000 pieces, not counting memorabilia and troll dolls. But Guinness, to get the record, they established the baseline. They're only counting the dolls, not all the memorabilia.
Right.
And each doll has to be different in one way. The first time we did it, we had 2,190. But I knew, based on the troll doll collecting community, that wasn't a very significant number. So the next time we attempted, it was around 6,000. But Guinness wanted more documentation, so by the time I got all that additional documentation to them, it was 8,130. But now we're over 9,000, closing in on 10,000 unique troll dolls in the collection. Because of all the publicity, now I'm a sanctuary for everyone to bring their beloved troll dolls here.
You should have to feed them and take them out.
Yes.
Take them to the bathroom.
We integrate them into the museum and we do rehome and sell some. My husband's been pushing me to get out of the hoarding phase because I've now amassed over 40,000 pieces. Trolls, troll dolls, troll memorabilia.
You know, when I was little, I can remember getting, a troll doll, but we used to call them wishnicks.
Yes.
What is the difference between a wishnick and a troll? Is that a brand?
Yes, it's a brand. So the original fellow, his name was Thomas Dahm of Denmark.
Okay.
And he created the troll dolls and he called them damn trolls. Don't touch my damn trolls.
So this is a Dahm troll.
Yes. When that doll launched, other doll manufacturers looked at it, and the Unita Doll Company of the U.S. made a troll similar
to the original Dahm doll.
They put double horseshoes as their slogan because they're lucky trolls.
Right.
On the bottom of their foot. And those went up all the way through 2007. The Unita Doll Company continued to pump out small numbers of troll dolls. So
those were the
wishnicks.
Okay, because we always referred to them as that.
Wishnicks. When you're out and about, you can find parts and pieces of trolls. The mountain trolls in particular are sensitive to the sunlight. If the sun touches them and they're young, they burst into 1,000,000 pieces. If they're older, they consolidate into a giant mountain-sized object. Now, this here on the table
is one that combusted?
No. What is that? We picked it out of the woods, we analyzed it and studied it. You see those growing on trees. What is it?
A mushroom?
It's a giant troll booger. They wipe their noses onto the tree. So those are all boogers.
You gotta come on, get out of here. That's a big troll booger. How did you analyze that?
So we have a call to action for our tour. It's called Are Trolls Real? You decide upon the evidence I present. It's to play with trolls.
Collector Barbie.
Because Barbie knew trolls were hot, so her little outfit with the troll.
So this would have been an early 90s one? Look at her, she's got one in her pants.
Yeah.
She's got a troll in her pants.
Oh, that might be off-color joke.
What would be your favorite troll? You have to have one that you really hold
it's a moving
near
target.
and dear.
Now, my favorite troll was the one he held over there with the orange crocheted panties, which I crocheted for him, because that was my first primo, rare, unique
Dahm troll
that I got.
So he's your favorite.
Yeah, so my original troll doll, which we'll see downstairs, just a little 3-inch one. It is from the 60s, but to have the more limited production one, that was my first.
Your first rare one.
Yeah, so he always has a space. And then meanwhile, it's a moving target because we'll see some different trolls as they come in. I'm like, oh, that's my prize. And when I do unboxings on YouTube, then I always look at whatever came in and I pick one and say, of this batch that just came in, this is my
best
favorite.
One. Okay, yeah.
So we'll see several of those as we go through the museum. It's like, wow. And there's the first one. Well,
that's your first guy? How did you learn so much about trolls?
Yeah, I basically learned almost everything I know from trolls from Sherry Groom, the owner.
Right, yeah.
I mean, when I started working here, like I applied, it's kind of a funny job that I was looking for a museum position because I've worked a lot with history stuff and I've given tours to some historical societies.
Yes.
But I wanted a more permanent museum position. And so I went on Indeed. I'm like, well, I'll look for this gig. And then this job came up at the Troll Museum. I'm like, well, that's kind of a cool name. It's different.
Troll.
And so I applied here. Like Sherry called me back and she's like, oh, this is the Troll Museum. We're all about trolls. And she ran through everything. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know all about that. But truthfully, I didn't know much about it.
Yeah.
So like when I started working here, I had to watch like a ton of movies, like 7 or 8 different movies have to do with the trolls. I think I've read like 4 books so far.
And then have you noticed, and like, she says they like to move. Have you noticed that they do on their own jump around and like some weird stuff happens?
Yeah, like some people might say, it's maybe the wind pressure, maybe someone closing a door, wind coming through, but we also had a ghost hunter come here not too long ago and say that the place was haunted with a good ghost. A friendly ghost.
Good ghost.
Yeah, like not one of the mean ones.
Casper.
Yeah, like more like Casper. But that's what I truly enjoy doing here is giving the tours.
Right. And the people you meet, I mean, they're from all over the world.
Yeah, we've had people here from all over Europe, China, South America, of course all over the United States, and of course Ohio here.
Exactly. We better get a lot more from Youngstown area, right?
Yeah, Youngstown. And we try to promote to everybody, and I try to tell all my friends even, hey, come on down here from Youngstown.
Right.
Check this place out. It's unique. You're not going to see another museum like this. Plus, we're in the Guinness Book of World Records.
I know, how cool.
And that's like an ultimate selling point right there. People love to see that kind of thing.
The Casey Malone Show is sponsored in part by Denise and John York and the DeBartolo Corporation.